Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. We were discussing this word. We first, just to recap, we were never remind me. Okay, so we were discussing the verse of Ud'u Rabbakum tadarra wa khufya. We're discussing this verse, Ud'u Rabbakum tadarra wa khufya, that call out to your Rabb in humility and quietly, right? And here from this hadith, it shows you that the dua, which is softly, or the soft dua with humility, it is better than a loud dua. Although I told you sometimes people will say, no, if you make soft dua, how will the children learn how to make dua? Or if you're going to make soft dua, people will become negligent, they won't follow. So yes, okay, to teach people sometimes you make a loud dua, but the main thing is when you are alone in the dead of night, you make a soft dua, right? There's more sincerity, there is more humility in a soft dua. Because so there was this incident at the time of Khaybar when the Sahaba Ikram were making loud dua. Then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, look here, you are not calling out to a deaf person. You are calling out to a person who hears. And I told you, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We are closer to you than your jugular vein. In other words, doesn't mean Allah is physically close, because Allah Ta'ala is free from space and time. But rather what it means is that Allah Ta'ala hears everything. He knows everything. So you are not calling someone deaf or absent that you say it in such a loud voice. Instead, your addressee, the person you are speaking to, is someone hearing near. That is Allah. So to raise your voice is redundant. Allah Jalla Shanu mentions in this verse, Allah Ta'ala told you Surah Maryam, Allah speak about Zakaria alayhi salam, إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ نِدَاءً خَفِيًّا. When he called out to his Rabb in a lowered voice. This tells us that the state of dua, light by Allah Ta'ala, is that to be asked of him in a lowered and subdued voice. So from which Allah Ta'ala praised this. Allah says that the servant, the spy servant, he called out softly, softly. To just show you that the soft dua is the one that Allah loves. Sayyidina Hassan al-Basri says there's a difference of 70 degrees in making dua. Openly and loud when matched by the one made in a lowered voice. It was a habit of, so Basir says there's a difference of 70 degrees in making dua openly and loud when matched by one made in lowered voice. Yeah. So Hassan Basri says that the sincere, quiet dua is 70 degrees better, is 70 degrees higher than made by a loud dua. You saw that 70 degrees, right? It was a habit of the early righteous elders to exert to their maximum in zikr and dua, which kept them most of the time busy, but their voice was not heard by anyone because there's less show in it. In fact, their supplications remain between them and their Rabb. Many of them would memorize the whole Quran and keep engaged in reciting it, but others would not know about it. Then there would be others engaged in their pursuit of advanced religious knowledge, but they would never go about telling others that they were doing this and they were doing that. Why? Because there's more sincerity. There would be many others who would return from their homes after having long sessions of salah, but no one would come to know anything about that. He also said that he had seen such blessed people who would never perform ibadat, which they could do in private, out in the open, where people could see them and their voices unit out be very low. In other words, that ibadat that could be done in private, certain ibadats you can't do in private, like you have to read your salah in jamaat, etc. So those ibadat that can be done in private, you'd never see them doing in public. They would always do it in private. So what he's trying to show you here is that quiet. So quiet doesn't only mean quiet in the sense that it's a lower voice. Quiet also means what? Quiet also means to do it in such a way that people don't see you, people don't hear you, because in the air there is more sincerity. So quiet, you can say quiet, you can say khufya means to do it quietly, lowered voice, etc., etc. But yes, what this incident is trying to show you, you do it undercover. Do it. People mustn't know. Like, you know, the famous hadith we do, that charity, which the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is giving, or the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is giving. So do it undercover, quietly, nobody knows. Ibn Jurayj has said that raising voices in dua and making it noisy is makruh. Now, to make a loud dua, sing-song dua, this is makruh, reprehensible. In his Ahkam al-Quran, Imam Abu Bakr al-Jassas, I told you before, there's Ahkam al-Quran means those tafsir books which only deals with the laws, which only deals with the laws. It's called Ahkam al-Quran. In the Hanafi madhab, you got Ahkam al-Quran of Abu Bakr al-Jassas al-Razi. Imam Shafi also got the Ahkam al-Quran. There's the Ahkam al-Quran of Imam Ja'far al-Tahawi also. There's one of his, I got it by the house also. And there's the Ahkam al-Quran by Mala Ashraf Ali Tanwi. You got his main students, Mufti Shafi, Idris Kandelwi, Zafar Ahmad Usmani. They start from the beginning and they give all the laws and all the proofs. So yeah, Abu Bakr al-Jassas al-Razi, one day I'll show you this book also. He says that he says, Imam Abu Bakr al-Jassas, he said, this verse tells us that making dua in a lowered voice is more merit-worthy than making it in a raised voice. This is reported likewise from Hassan Basri and Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. This verse also tells us that the Amin said the end of Surah Fatiha should also be said in a lowered voice, which is more merit-worthy because Amin is also a dua. So this also supports the Hanafi madhab that you make a soft Amin. May Allah guide the Imams of Masjid in our time who seem to have forgotten this teaching of the Quran and Sunnah and the instructions of the early righteous elders in matter. After every salah, what follows as dua has become an artificial procedure. So what he's saying, like after Salah, is Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana, and we say Subhanallah, Subhanallah. That is just a ritual. What is it? It's just becoming a ritual. Whereas dua is something supposed to be soft and coming out from the heart between you and Allah, right? So after every salah, what follows is dua has become an artificial procedure. Some words are read out loudly, which besides being contrary to the etiquette and rules of dua, becomes a source of disturbing the salah of those who joined the congregation after it started and were busy completing the must part of the imam. After the imam had finished, so you should get a masbook, after the salam, you have to tell, now you're making a loud dua, you're disturbing that person, right? The overwhelming influence of custom has made them incapable of noticing its drawbacks. So what Mufti Sahib is saying, that because we grew up with this and we saw it all the time, we fail to see the harms of it. If something was with you all the time, you're doing something, you fail to see the harms of it. But if you see it for the first time, you say, this is harmful. But because it was always there, it's the predominant culture, we fail to see. On a particular occasion where the purpose is to have a whole group make a particular dua, one person must say the word of dua, and there is an audible voice, and others will say Amin after it. Then it does not matter. Yes, you say, it's like sometimes you want to have a group dua like you have Quran khatam or something. So one person make it in a fairly audible voice and everybody say Amin. Maybe the condition is that this activity does not become a source of disturbance in the salah and ibadat of others. So yes, we're not disturbing anybody, you can do that. And this does not become a matter of habit and custom whereby common people start believing it as the standard method of dua as happening so commonly these days. So yes, I tell you, sometimes you make a loud dua to teach people, etc. But you must not make luzum and dawam. Always the dua must be loud. So, and always, if somebody doesn't make a loud dua, now you think that this person is doing wrong. Now you are making that's with deen, because you are giving the impression that duas have to be loud. What has been said above concerned the making of dua for one's needs. If dua is taken in the sense of dhikr, so we remember Ud'u Rabbakum tadarra means dua, asking. And if you take the Arabic Ud'u means to make dhikr, remember Ud'u Rabbakum tadarra. So then, what has been said above concerned the making of dua for one needs. If dua is taken in the sense of dhikr, remembrance, and ibadah, worship at his place, then according to the established position of early ulama, low voice zikr is more meritworthy than loud zikr. So this shows you to make a soft zikr is better than to make a loud zikr. As for the practice of the shuyukh in the Chishtiya order, who recommend loud zikr for allow zikr for spirit for beginners, they do so in the view of the spiritual condition of the seeker as a measurement of treatment, so that by voicing it, any lack of alertness would go away, and the heart would learn to become attuned to the zikr of Allah. Otherwise, raising the voice in zikr as such is not desirable even with them. So it is permissible, as justification sense proof from the hadith as well. Of course, subject to condition that in it there is no hypocrisy or desire to show off riyah. So what Mufti Sahib is speaking about here, sometimes you see, I told you that the sheikh, the spiritual guide, he tells the person who's starting this part of suluk, that purify himself, you make loud zikr. So now we're telling you all the time, let's make soft zikr. We give you the virtues of making soft zikr. So why do they say loud? Sometimes when a person just starts this road, of tasawwuf, maybe he does not have presence of mind. So just to help him with presence of mind, etc., etc., the sheikh, the spiritual guide will say, make loud as a remedial measure. The asr is to make soft, is to engage in soft remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. But this is a remedial measure. What is it? Right? Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Ibn Hibban, Al-Bayhaqi, and others have reported from a narration by Sayyidina Sa'd ibn Waqqas, the Holy Prophet said, خَيْرُ الذِّكْرِ الْخَفِيُّ وَخَيْرُ الرِّزْقِ مَا يَكْفِيهِ. خَيْرُ الذِّكْرِ الْخَفِيُّ, the best remembrance is the quiet one. وَخَيْرُ الرِّزْقِ مَا يَكْفِيهِ, and the best of risk is that which just is sufficient for you. So if under particular conditions and timings, a voice zikr is actually more desirable and meritworthy. These things and conditions have been explained by the Holy Prophet through his word and deed, for example. So generally, zikr must be done soft, but sometimes Shariat says better, like how calling out the azan, calling out the iqamah, that is done loud, with a raised voice, reciting the Quran during the voice prayers with a raised voice, saying the takbirs of salah, the takbirs of tashriq, the talbiyah in hajj. So the default ruling is that your zikr must be soft, unless the shariat has told you this you do loud, you read salah in this salah, you make this takbir loud, etc. So with make takbir. Therefore, Muslims should say Allah Ta'ala have mercy on all of them, have reached the decision that in particular conditions and places where the Holy Prophet has by word or deed taught us to raise the voice, voices must be raised. Under conditions and situations other than these, voiceless zikr is most preferable. So what he's saying, there where the Shariat has said be loud, there you be loud, there's no doubt. There you don't apply your analogy. But there where the Shariat is silent, then there it is better you make it soft, because there is, unless there was extenuating circumstances. I told you that people need to hear you, you educate somebody, or you fear that if you do not make this loud dua, people will not concentrate, then you do it loud, right? Okay, let's stop there, Mulana. Stop there.